Okay, hey guys, welcome to our Monday night Zoom. On Mondays, I try to come to you with just something that's inspired me during the week or something that I use to keep pushing myself forward. And in true Tammy fashion, I listened to a podcast over the weekend and I loved it so much. I immediately checked with Lisa Cook to see if she'd listened to it because it is the infamous Ed Milet. And of course, I should have had this pulled up because now you're all going to be like, which one, Tammy? It's not his newest. I was working my way back on some that I had missed. So it is called How to Achieve and Sustain Peak Performance with Alan Stein Jr. It was released on June 14th. If you are wanting to listen to it after this, I actually even recommended it to someone who was not on our team, not even in the business, just somebody that I was talking to that was having some struggles. And there's lots of things in this podcast that are really, really good. But the thing I want to talk about is what I titled the cover of our graphic, and it's the unseen hours. And so I want you to think about, we're going to talk about a lot of the unseen so that this could actually like really resonate with you. Homeowners here in the group, have you ever had to spend thousands of dollars on a new furnace? And it sucks because I call that ugly money. You spend all this money on something amazing for your home and it's ugly and no one can see it and it doesn't matter. It's not like you got a new sofa or you built a new deck or you put in a pool. It's nothing fun like that, right? It's not fun. It's just ugly money, but you have to have a furnace, especially if you live here in Ohio. So I call that ugly money. And then have you ever heard of the what you eat in private shows up in public thought when it comes to your body and your health? Like people who you only see eat a salad in public and they only talk about all the healthy stuff they eat, but behind closed doors, they're eating all of the things that they're not supposed to be eating. And so basically what I'm getting at is we have a lot of unseen things in our life that affect our day to day. If you choose not to purchase the new furnace, what's that going to do to you and your house? You're going to freeze. Your pipes are going to freeze. You're going to have all kinds of problems. If you choose to eat all the bad food when no one's looking in the unseen times of your day, what's that going to do to your health? Diminish it and bring it down. So let's talk about the unseen hours of your business. There are so many unseen hours. We're together for 1 hour here, right? And then we might see each other on Facebook, or maybe somebody makes a funny reel and we see that. So we feel really connected. We really feel like, oh man. There are days where I will like scroll through really quick and be like, oh my gosh, the team is just killing it. Like there's a reel and there's a reel and there's a post and there's a poll. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But I'm just taking in what I can see, right? I don't know what happened. Were they not even on social media the last 4 days? But today they posted a reel, so I saw it and it popped up. So I'm assuming they're working. Are you guys following me on your unseen hours? This goes a lot to this just the thing I loved about it so much was that it just keeps going back to what we talk about here as a team so often. It's the process. It's the mundane. It's the basics. But this fella, this Alan Stein, or Steen, I said Stein, I don't know exactly, but he works with a lot of professional NBA players. And so there's a lot of sports references to this podcast, but he brings it all right back to life. So I really do recommend you guys listen to this because it's so good. It was so good actually that Lisa Cook even has already, and now I have because of her, got his book off of Audible. And she said it's amazing. So I can't wait to get started on that. But so he talks about like working with people like Kobe Bryant or like Michael Jordan. And those are really the only two names. He talks about other famous basketball players, but I don't know them, so I won't say their names. But he talks about how, there's so much glory in the game, right? It's on TV. They've got people following them around. They're making lots of money. They might do a Wheaties commercial. They're going for a championship and you get to see them play the game for a couple of hours one night. You don't see all of what goes into that one night. Think of any of you that have ever planned and participated in a wedding. Months and months and months and months of preparation and work and money. Oh my God, the money, the time. And it's over. All of a sudden it's over, right? You had the glory, but all that stuff had to lead up to it. A lot of times we're focused on being 12K, getting that car, getting on stage, getting the shout out. but you're not ever going to get there if you're not focused on the unseen hours. Sonia, let me pull this back up because it's called how, so it's from the Ed Mylett podcast. Okay. So you're going to go to Ed Mylett's podcast, however you listen to him. And it is called How to Achieve and Sustain Peak Performance with Alan Stein Jr. And it was originally released on June 14th. So it's a month or more old. But it's so good. Sustain your, oh, thank you, Lisa. I had typed in there already. It's like an iceberg graphic for success. Yes, people don't always see what's below the water. So he was talking in specifically about Kobe Bryant and how Kobe knew that everyone in the game, professionally in the game, Betty talked. Oh yeah, Betty. Yeah, yes, Betty did talk about the basics and sticking to it and being in the work zone to get to the glory. So when he was talking specifically about Kobe Bryant, he was saying that Kobe knew that most professional basketball players do 2 workouts a day. So he did 3. He didn't have to, but he wanted to be the best. He didn't want to be, he differentiated between being the best in the world or being his best. So how many times have you wanted to be the best, right? You want to be the top PPA. You want to be the girl who gets the promo first. You want to be the girl who gets the shout out. But that's crippling. That can literally become crippling because then you start to compare yourself to everyone else. And you have to start thinking, okay, well, if I'm going to be the best, that means I have to be better than XYZ. And they've been doing this for longer, or they've blah, 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 versus just focusing on being your best. What is your best? Are you really, truly, honestly, in the unseen hours, giving your best? Are you filling out the names on your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 because you truly, honestly started a conversation with somebody, or did you shoot happy birthday on their actual page and go on to the next person? Like, are you really doing your best, or have you just decided you can't be the best, so you're just gonna play just regular? You're just gonna be a regular person. You might sit on the bench, you might play a little. You're not really worried about that, right? And then the other thing that he talked about, which really resonated with what we talked about last week as a team, you see like the money shot, like this, Kobe's really the only name I know. He makes this amazing game-winning shot, and it's like swoosh, all net, no, nothing. It's like the perfect shot. It's not luck, and it's not an accident. He's practiced that one shot 1,000 times. So think about that in your business. Are you waking up every day and you're trying to do a sample, and you're trying to do a detox, and you're trying to do a rest gel commercial, and you're trying to do, it's the community for me, and oh my God, I got the auto bonus. Are you all over the board, or are you honing in and really perfecting one thing first? Because, a lot of times I'll hear people, I tried to do a sample post and it didn't go well. So then I saw that Sandra did something about the detox and she had comments. So I did, and it didn't work either. So then I thought, I'm going to talk about this auto bonus, right? You're just all over the place. Versus I did a sample post and it's set. So the next day I did a sample poll. And then the next day I went live in my stories about what comes in a sample. And then the next day I shared someone on the team who started with a sample and now has been a thriver for 5 years. Like, are you really sticking to one thing till you get really good at it? Or are you constantly losing because you're not willing to put in the work to get good at it? And I'm talking to myself with all of this, just so you all know. Just so everybody knows, Tammy has these conversations with herself too. Sandra Jobeck says, and he visualized it. Yes, there is so much in this podcast about visualization. And he even talks about how, so when you visualize the game-winning shot, or in our case, that promo winning order, that I hit 12K order, when you finally got that fourth promoter that you needed and you hit 12K, when you picture that, you're like picturing that, right? That moment, how you're going to feel, the card's going to look like. And yes, he did visualize that, but he also visualized dribbling in one spot nonstop for hours, and then pivoting and dribbling nonstop, because you don't get your chance to make the shot if you lose the ball. You got to know how to move the ball, right? You got to know how to dribble the ball. So he would do hours of the basics. And this guy was, and like he is legendary in baseball. If you're not, or basketball land. If you're not familiar with Kobe, God rest his soul, he is famous. Like he literally became the best. But it's not because he practiced game-winning shots. It's because he practiced everything that took him up to even get the opportunity to have the game-winning shot. So if your opportunity you're going for is, say, the auto bonus, and you're focused on the auto bonus, and you're only thinking about what it's going to feel like to get that car, and you're not thinking about helping the 4 promoters who you're going to have under you build their teams, because you can't do auto bonus by yourself, right? You got to think about, who are those 4 people? How am I helping them? What am I doing every day to help them? We got to go even further back. What are we doing in our business to find these people? How are we helping people thrive so that they can become happy thrivers? Because who makes the best promoters? Happy thrivers, right? You got to go all the way back to the non-glorious, non-fun, non-exciting, no one's getting a shout out about it kind of stuff. But that's where champions are made, right? And I know this isn't a sport, but my God, don't you feel like it's a sport some days? Don't you feel some days like we might be running a marathon, and then all of a sudden Paul and Jason drop something and now you're sprinting because there's something, a carrot dangling in front of you? So I want you to think about that. Like, yes, you guys know I'm huge on vision boards. I'm huge on thinking and dreaming big. But big dreams don't fall out of the sky. You have to be showing the world that you're ready for that. Like this is so funny. I hope I saved it. I posted this, I guess I posted it last year. Sometimes I post really good stuff and I'm like, dang, girl, good job. Yeah, so last year today, it was a memory. I said, not sure who needs to hear this, but clean out your purse, tidy up your wallet, face your bills in the same direction, file your receipts, gather your loose change, and let money know you're ready for it. So think about that with your business. Are you saying, I want an auto bonus? Are you ready for it? Do you have a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 that is overflowing with legitimate conversations? Are you putting in the time for legitimate conversations? Yeah, full contact sports. Yes, I feel like some days we need like padding, mouth guard, and helmet. Sandra says, I'm adding new pics to my vision board today. And so, there's different ways to look at it. You could think about a vision board. You could think about a timeline. You could think about getting real specific. If you're on my squad, bless your heart, first of all, but we're working with our calendars. And we started with our monthly and weekly, and then we got down to our daily. And when people turned in their daily calendars, I read things like 6 to 7, prepare dinner. It don't take an hour to cook dinner. And if it does, let's rethink how you're cooking dinner while you're trying to build your business. Because with crock pots and Instant Pots and batch cooking on a Sunday or something, you could cut that time in half or even less and use the extra time to build your business. So you have to start visualizing, how am I going to do these small, basic things that are like ugly money? They're like the furnace in the basement. It costs a lot of money. Nobody wants to buy it, but without it, it's not going to work, right? What are you going to do in those unseen hours? It's very easy. And I get it, you guys. I'm human too. It's very easy to be like, okay, I'm going to do my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you're going to get started. And then you're like, oh, look at her cute. And this is me. This is so me. Tom, look at their puppy they got. Oh my God, it's so cute. Oh God, Tammy, that doesn't make money. You got to go in, you got to tell them the dog is cute. Then you got to go into Messenger and you got to say, oh my gosh, your dog is precious. When did you get it? Where is it from? What kind is it? What did you name it? Like whatever. I have to start a conversation. I can enjoy the fact that the puppy is precious, but I've got to have a conversation. I have to be legitimately in that moment. So if you're writing on your calendar from, we're doing the daily calendar and it's a booger to master. Yes. And that's the thing. I know Paul Gravett says that, yeah, I have my own SQU moments. Paul Gravett says that your calendar is your game board. And if you can master your game board, and I know it sounds weird and funky, but there are so many times, if you really think about your day, like you remember the highlights. I got to be at work from 8 to 5. I've got to be at PTO or PTA, whatever they call that, at 7:30. Okay, what's happening between 5 and then? Well, I got to go home and make dinner and get the kids ready. Okay, well, did you start dinner in the crock pot earlier? Is dinner really ready? We just need to put it on a plate and set them down and feed them. Because if so, that's not going to take from 5 to 7. Are you with me? Like you're got to get real nitty gritty with that calendar. And then you have to look at it too. There's going to be things on your calendar that you might have to decide what's more important to me. Like, yes, I love being in my garden. But some days I'm like, self, you have to go back inside and we have to sit down, we have to work and we got to do a little work. And so I will like set a timer or I'll be like, okay, as soon as you get all of this done, then we can go back out and maybe cut a flower or like, I don't know. I just like to go out there and stare at them. Whatever. I swear I say too much about myself on these Zooms sometimes. But if you don't have your day planned, your day will happen anyway, right? Just like think about this. Have you ever had a day where you didn't have dinner planned? You don't know what you're going to make. You don't know what you're going to eat. You're not sure what to do. People eat, right? People somehow eat dinner. Yes, like my confession at workout. Sonia had confession at workout tonight with me. But no one starves, right? You figure out something to fill that gap. Same with your calendar. If you don't figure out what you're going to do in that time, you'll find something to do with it. And it's going to be more fun than work. Just like when you don't know I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know. I guess it's order pizza. I don't know. We're going to have cereal. Like that's me as a treat, cereal for dinner. Versus I'm going to grill some chicken. We're going to have some broth, right? It's if you don't figure it out, you're going to have more fun. So if I don't figure out in this half hour, I'm going to use that time to post my sample poll, make a comment, make 3 comments. Like if I don't figure it out and tell myself that, I'm going to find something better to do. And it's probably going to involve TikTok. And then I'm probably going to send a TikTok about a dog to Courtney because I might have done that yesterday. Or that might have been today. I can't remember. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's the unseen hours. It's when we're not together. I am not perfect. I may come to you with great stuff on Zooms, but I struggle with it just like you guys do. I am so obsessed with my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 being filled out, like almost to a fault, that I want it done. I want it done. I want it done in the morning. I want it done well. And then sometimes I start panicking because have you ever, like some days it's like butter, like you just do it. And you're like, yeah. And then other days I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know what to ask people. I have no idea. I don't know what to talk about. I don't know. I don't know what to do. And I honestly, in those moments will make myself put it away, walk away, do something else and come back because I know it's just me. But I want it done. And I don't want to just fill in names for the hell of it, because if I'm just going to fill in names for the hell of it, I can just pull up my Facebook list right now and write down names and be like, oh, did my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, have a great night. I want to build a business. So if I'm going to take the time to write names down, I want them to count. Right. And if I'm going to find names that count here, let's keep going back to the basics. If I want to keep finding names to write down to count, I have to keep adding to my network. I have to keep sending those friend requests. I have to keep introducing myself to people. I have to keep throwing out things on my Facebook page that may seem awkward, like, hey, we're going to do a detox, join me. Right. Like I get nervous when I do that stuff, but I do it and it creates conversations. I've had so many people reach out to me about detox for this upcoming month. So my point is I know I've gone full circle and talked a really long time. We all have unseen hours. It's what we do in those unseen hours that is going to make the difference. When you see somebody on social media killing it, when you see somebody get printed up in a Lavelle magazine, or you see somebody stand up on that stage, it's very easy, and I hear it, and I've probably even said it. Well, she must have come from another company. Or, well, she must have a sales background or whatever, right? We've all said it. Well, how about, I bet she worked her ass off when no one was watching. I bet she did the mundane day to day. I mean, Lindsay Coggins to me is an amazing example, because that girl, when she goes into her Instagram, she's in there for business. She is 3, 2, 1 and people left and right. She is only talking about her Thrive company. She is only talking on her reels. She ain't worried. Her niche that we've all worried about, her niche is Lavelle. Her niche is Thrive. She sticks to it and she works it. And guess what? That's why she is where she is. She's not worried about what people are saying or thinking. And she gets to stand on that stage. And so she's at the point where she doesn't even have to really probably do that anymore. She has enough people under her to keep that thing floating, but she's smart. and she still uses her unseen hours to get in there and do all that work. She has a kid and another kid coming, and she knows the harder she works now, the better life's going to be later for them. So it's weird because it always is always going to go back to your why, right? And your why may be something on that vision board, like a Land Rover. Maybe it's a boat. Maybe it's a no more house payment. Maybe it's a $0 balance on your credit card. I don't know what's on your vision board, but I know if you want those big things to come to you, you got to work backwards, and you got to get real mundane, and you got to practice. You got to dribble for hours in one spot until you learn to dribble in 2 spots, until you learn to do a layup, and you can do a layup 1,000 times. And here's the thing. I am thinking maybe a toy hauler. Oh, there you go. That way you can trap. That would be a good motivator for you, Sonia. I say print a picture of that out ASAP. And what's funny is when I read that, I was thinking that was Courtney saying it. So you got to be willing to do that little stuff. And so don't just visualize the glory moment, visualize yourself. So tonight, before you go to bed, I'm going to pick on Lisa just because Lisa has been open and honest about this, and we're doing it together. Lisa made a commitment to get up at 5 a.m., send me a text with a Ed Mylett quote, and work her business from 5 to 6. You guys, I got my text from Lisa at 5 a.m. this morning. She's been working her business. So tonight, before Lisa goes to bed, I want her to focus on seeing the alarm clock at 5, opening up Messenger and visualizing herself typing me a text, and then visualizing herself going through her reach outs, going through her follow-ups, doing her birthday notifications, visualize that stuff and get real specific with how you're going to do that. And so if you're looking at me and you're like, I can only do it at lunch. Okay, so visualize lunch. What time are you getting up from your desk? Are you going to go outside to eat? Are you going to the cafeteria? Are you going to eat at your desk? Okay, now you're eating. Are you just eating? Are you eating and scrolling through? Are you eating and checking your checkbook? Or are you going to eat with your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in front of you? And you're going to make sure you get 5 reach outs done before your lunch is done. I don't know. Everyone has a completely different life and lives a completely different day. But you have got to tell yourself what you're going to do with that time. Or like I said, you will find something to do. So one of my biggest takeaways, I want you to remember that you are the only person in charge of those unseen hours. We're not going to know what's going on in the unseen hours. It'll show, right? It'll show if you're getting to where you want to go with your goals. Did you add new customers this week? Did you get a sample sent out this week? Did you get your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 turned in? Like, we're going to know that stuff because we're going to see it, but I'm not going to know, right? I'm not really going to know. Did she fill that out to get her names on there, or was she really working that business, right? So I think it's important for you to find your unseen hours, first of all. And I think that goes back to your calendar and being really nitty gritty. And you guys, you don't even have to have a calendar. You need a sheet of paper, okay? Just a notebook sheet of paper. The very top needs to be the time you wake up. So Lisa Cook, yours would say 5 a.m. And then the very bottom line needs to say the time you go to bed. And then you need to fill in all the times in between. And put in the standard stuff. A lot of us have regular day jobs. You know you're going to be at work from 7 to 3, 9 to, whatever. Like, everybody knows that. But you also know that you might get a break in the afternoon. You might get a lunch break. And I'm here to tell you, and I'll be the first one to say this, and HR could fight with me. If people can go on smoke breaks, you can go on potty breaks. Okay? Hear me out on that one. If they can go outside and smoke for 10 minutes and shoot the shit with whoever, you can go in the bathroom and you can send out 10 minutes worth of messages. You can. But remember, you have to plug that in, right? You have to decide. And you all know I'm a huge fan of the habit stacking. If you are not feeling like yourself and you're feeling low and you're feeling down and like we've talked about self-esteem, if you're starting to have a bad opinion of yourself, how can you win in some time that you could lift yourself up on your ride home or on your ride to work? Use that phone and find something. It doesn't always have to, and here's the thing, I want to make sure you guys know, it doesn't always have to be a business. Like, I was talking to a girl who's really struggling mentally with a lot of stuff. And I recommended Ed Mylett to her. And I said to her, he is a businessman. However, He loves Jesus and people, and he will lift you up, and he will. Like, this whole podcast is about basketball. But the whole time I'm like, oh my gosh, my team, we all need to hear this, because I don't care what you're doing with your life, there's so many similarities. So basketball, this person's trying to win the game, right? As a promoter, what are you trying to do? Win the game. We're trying to win the game. We're trying to get the promo, get the car, get the trip. Like, we're in that full padded, like, we're in 2 days, people, right? We're summer, we're in 2 days, we're going for football. Any of my squad on here will have an assignment already done ahead of time. Hint, hint. Oh, hey. I did not know that. I hope I didn't ruin anything. But get real specific with your time. And then once you're specific with your time, sit with it for a day or two. Like, literally put it with you at all times. Be like, okay, I told myself that from this time to this time, this is what I'm doing. What am I really doing? Am I really doing what I wrote down? If I wrote down it's taking me an hour to prepare dinner, what am I really doing? If I wrote I need to sit with my family from 7 to 9 because it's family time, what am I really doing? Are your kids watching TV while you're playing on your phone? Or are you at the park? Are you know what I mean? Like, I don't care how you use your time. I want you to have family time. I want you to do that stuff. But if you're fooling yourself saying, well, I have to be in the living room with the kids from 7 to 9 because it's family time, and how rude would it be to be working my business while my kids are home? But if I turned on a camera, are you playing with your kids or are you scrolling your phone? Because God love Tom, we will sit together in the living room and we will both be on our phone and we will share TikToks or, whatever. We'll. So really think about, what am I doing in that time? Spend some days with it, keep checking back to it, and start to identify where you know what, it's not taking me an hour. I don't like this. I know I'm calling myself on my bullshit. I just admitted sending you a video, a TikTok of the dog rescuer. But then start comparing it. Okay, so I said from 6 to 7, I prepared dinner, but really it's looking like every night it's only from 6 to 6:30. And actually by 6:45, we've already cleaned up. And okay, I have 15 minutes right there daily that I don't know what I'm doing in it. I'm probably scrolling, or, and here's the other thing too, because I said, like, if you don't fill your time, if you don't tell yourself what you're going to fill your time with, you'll make something fun out of it, like, dinner. But here's the other thing that I am a master of. I might start cleaning. Have you ever done that? I got 15 minutes. Well, this kitchen is a mess. I've got to get this kitchen cleaned up. I got to load that dishwasher. My God, we cannot go on with life if there's, no, I probably could have sat down and sent out some messages, right? Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Because, later on you're like, oh, the kitchen's dirty again. Like, I'm not saying live in filth. Please don't, that's not what I'm after at all. But I've been known to put in a little laundry and not really do much with it. But I put it in when I should have sent a message. So again, this is just getting really honest with yourself. Like Courtney said, call yourself on your bullshit. Get honest. What am I doing between 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. or whatever time it is you wake up till 10 p.m. or midnight, whatever time you go to bed? What are you really doing? And this will also help you. I'm the biggest procrastinator. I had my will for about 4 days. I still haven't looked over it. Put it on your calendar. Tell yourself, when are you going to look at it tomorrow? What time? Just like how you had an appointment with me tonight from 5:30 to 6 to work out. Put it on you. You showed up, right? You were there. Heck, you were even a little early, right? You were on time. Make yourself an appointment with yourself. And you guys, this, like, I had a stack of Ben Boss orders that I should have put in all weekend. I didn't. So last night before bed, I was like, okay, after my first clients, but before breakfast, I made it before breakfast because I don't want to get distracted with food. I made myself put them in, and it was on my calendar, and I freaking did it. Why? Because I wrote down I was going to do it. I know it sounds stupid. You remember how all of you were like, oh my gosh, writing down our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like, it's so weird how I didn't realize I wasn't really working. Right in your calendar. You will be shocked when you put pen to paper on a time slot and tell yourself what to do. To-do lists are good. Don't get me wrong. You can have a to-do list, but then take that to-do list and when are you going to do it? Right? When are you going to do it? Because if all day you're like, well, I've got my to-do list says I got to get that laundry done. but I haven't got it done yet. So I can't start this because I haven't got the laundry done yet. Well, if you say I'm going to put a load of laundry in at 7 a.m. before I leave for work, and I'm going to put it in the dryer at 5 o'clock when I get home, and I'm going to fold it at 9 o'clock before I go to bed, and you've actually written it down, you'll be shocked at what happens. You'll be shocked. We are looking for someone to come clean since I can't right now. I tried to vacuum, it took forever, and then I can do, yeah, and then you can do more Thrive work. Girl, let that house fall down around you while you work at Thrive Business. You're on a scooter, for God's sakes. We're not worried about that. All right, so I could talk about it all night long. I hope this was helpful. I want you to start thinking about your calendar as your unseen hours, because you are the only person who truly honestly sees your calendar, right? You might be clocking in and clocking out at work, so somebody in HR sees what time you got there and what time you left. They don't know what you did all day, right? They have no idea. Think about the last 2 years, people working from home. They logged in and logged out. Nobody knew what was going on in between. So it's the same thing. It's you. Like, what are you? Be honest with yourself. Lindsay says, my biggest challenge will come when I get back home and I get my schedule under control. Come Thursday, it'll be a new business lady. Yes. Ronnie says, I keep telling her that this is the time for her to work on her business. Keep telling who? You, yourself? I keep telling her. Oh, Sandra. Were you saying to Sandra? Because she, yeah, gotcha. Okay, sorry. Mine took me a minute. Yeah, for sure, because she's got nothing else that she can do, really. And here's the thing too. So Jamie Flint, who's not on here tonight because she's in Las Vegas on family vacation, she had to do the assignment with us, and Jamie works swing shift. So she actually turned in a AM shift calendar and a PM shift calendar so that she could, and you guys, the things that filled in were the same. They were just a different time slot. So you would think, oh, you don't need that written down, but you do. You do. And we've had Sandra come up with her lesson plan, which is a fancy word for calendar, of what she's going to do when, and it keeps people on track. So I'm telling you, please, for the love of Pete, no excuses that you don't have a printer, no excuses you can't go to work, no excuses that my calendar doesn't work for me. Take a sheet of notebook paper, put what time you wake up, put what time you go to bed on average. I know not everybody lives the same day every day. Fill in all the hours in between the times, and then put your general average day. And then tell me that that doesn't make you start rethinking how you're spending some of your time. And you might be shocked at how much you can get done that you didn't even think you could get done because you didn't think you had enough time in the day, but suddenly you have time in the day, right? Okay, so this will be recorded, or it is recorded, I should say. It'll be on my YouTube. Love you all, and I'll see you next Monday.